Hi, this is Steve.
This is Bob.
This is Jay.
This is a special episode of Alpha Quadrant 6. We are going to be unboxing a phaser rifle, actually 4 phaser rifles. And a little bit of a story behind what these phaser rifles are. We're going to tell you that. So how did this all start, Jay?
Well, David Tremont, who you will see an interview with shortly, he and I became friends after we visited Weta. What was that, 4 years ago?
5 years ago.
So in New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. So Weta, if you don't know, which you probably do, but Weta is a studio that has designed like all of the physical props and digital effects and everything for Lord of the Rings.
Costuming, yep.
And dozens of other movies that you've seen. Like, their work is unbelievably excellent, pristine. Mm-hmm. They have a swordsmith on site. They have leather workers on site. Yeah. So the fact is that David was on a 30-day vacation. Mm-hmm. I guess he had built up all this vacation time. Oh no, I think that people in other countries other than the United States actually get real vacation, or here we get 2 weeks or something. So David was on vacation and he sends me a picture of this blaster rifle that he made, and he asked me, what do you think about it? I said, it looks like it's definitely Star Wars. Looks like it's from the Outer Rim. Maybe 300 years before Luke Skywalker. Movie 4. The very first Star Wars movie. He's like, oh man, you're totally right. You totally guessed. That's exactly where I was building this weapon to fit into. And then he said, you know what? I've got so much crap in my house that I've made up. I'm just going to send it to you. You deserve it. So he sends it to me. And I had to follow a video and put it together, and it was amazing. And the thing is amazing. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of our conversation about a Star Trek phaser rifle. Mm-hmm. So I think David was the one that first mentioned the idea of it. And then he very quickly, after chit-chatting with me, very quickly decided that he wanted to make us a prop that we can use as a giveaway to our listeners and viewers to help us get our build up our patronage. So because AQ6, Alpha Quadrant 6, and the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe both use Patreon to help fund the work that we do. So that's what we're doing here today. Right. The phaser rifle is complete. It's in a box that's right here. Listen, there's 4 of them in these 2 boxes right here. We are going to unbox these, and we're going to build them right in front of you. And we're just going to quickly just tell the audience about what this whole thing is.
Yeah, so first we wanted to come up with an idea, like what is the prop that we're building, right? So we wanted to do a phaser rifle, and we decided it was going to be Star Trek genre and classic Trek, the original series time frame. But where in that universe would it fit? And we landed on the idea that this would be the phaser rifle that Section 31 is using at that time, which is something that we haven't seen in the Star Trek canon. So it's kind of an empty space that we could fill. So we had to design a phaser that would kind of look like it fit in that universe, but would be something new and cool. And I think we did that.
And also, the fun part was that we actually came up with the design. Yeah. David helped us tweak it, but the design is largely out of our minds. That's number one. And number 2, that this Section 31 rifle is really powerful because it's not by general Starfleet people, right? So Section 31 wouldn't have a regular phaser rifle. They would have something that does really bad stuff because they have to deal with the bigger issues.
So it had to look more powerful than the standard issue.
And more cutting edge, right? More experimental, if you will, right?
So our things that we came up with that this phaser rifle can do is ridiculous, but it's fun, right? So just follow us. Like it can create gravity wells. So you could shoot a gravity well at someone and pull people into a gravity well, which is cool. What was the other thing that you came up with?
Well, I came up with the idea of like a tri-emitter. So it emitted 3 different types of radiation. One was like gravitational waves, super amped up gravitational waves. Another one was like gamma radiation, like a gamma ray laser, which you don't really hear much about in science fiction. I mean, you would think a gamma ray laser would be the most badass laser beam ever, right? Yeah. There you go. Awesome. And then the third one would be, what were we thinking for the third? The third beam would be a conventional...
It could be a particle beam.
Like a particle beam. More of a particle beam. So combined together, or I guess one at a time, that sounds like a pretty badass phaser rifle. Yeah. You can't even call it a phaser anymore.
You were pretty adamant, Bob, that it shouldn't look like it could fire bullets, right?
Oh,
it's got to be clearly an energy weapon.
Yes.
Not something that just looks like a modern or a futuristic projectile weapon.
Right, more ray gun than kind of even a blaster or something. Yeah, energy. It's all about the energy and not something that's going to shoot projectiles.
Now, we
which
have
to me
not
was-
seen it. We have not seen the
haven't
actual
unboxed
physical
it yet.
prop yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we waited to this video. We've been actually holding on to this thing for 5 days.
Yeah.
We were very good. You'll see that the box is still sealed up. So are we ready to crack this open?
Yeah, we are. Let's get to it. So here is box number 1. This should have 2 complete. Well, not
They're
built,
disassembled.
Yeah,
all the
disassembled.
parts.
All right, so I want to be very careful. I was checking the box out before. I want to be very careful not to cut into David when he put this together. Like, he obviously built it so it protects the stuff that's in it. But I don't want to cut into anything important, especially my thumb.
Yeah, but that's not important.
Yeah, so there we go.
Ooh,
So
a
why don't we-
paper. Should we look at it? Should we look at
Picture
it?
of what it looks like. You'll see. That'll be our guide.
Good coloring.
All right, yep, so there's wood.
Damn, man.
We're going to have a lot of stuff. More pictures.
Wow.
Very good, very good.
This guy knows his business.
All right, Bob, here, you take this one. All right. Steve, these are going to be used to do something.
Yeah. So each box has the makings of 2 of the phaser rifles.
There you go. So maybe each one of these boxes is one.
Oh boy, it's heavy.
One phaser rifle. So good. I'm glad that he had the secondary boxes in there, because these things are definitely protected. Now look, be careful, Bob. This says box 1. That says box 2.
This is box 4.
That says box 4. So I guess each one of these boxes is holding all the parts for one of them. You got to come up with a name for this phaser rifle.
Yeah. Mine's called Charlene.
Check this out. Look how well he packaged it.
So should we just start laying stuff out, guys?
Yeah, just put it out. Let's just keep the boxes separate.
Some good packing going on here.
And this is, oh cool, he sent us his books as well. So David has a series of books.
Let's slip the androids of war.
That
That's a new one. I don't have that one.
these books are awesome. I always enjoy looking through them. I mean, he did all the different things that he's built, and he goes into explaining the things that he works on. Oh my God, okay, I can't wait to look into that as well. All right, so we have two, wow, look at that, Bob.
Yeah, that's a nice piece.
Oh my God, look at the detail on there.
It's actually going to light up.
Yep.
It's wired.
What is that made out of? I mean, it's definitely plastic, but painted to look like metal. But it's a heavy-duty plastic.
It's heavy.
All right, this is all Bob's piece, or you opened that up as well?
No, that was Bob's piece.
Why is there two of them there?
Because that's what came in that box.
Oh, so okay, so I get it. So these are not.
Right.
Well, I actually think we're going to need to open up both boxes
Yeah, we probably are.
in order to get one full gun.
Look at the details on this. I mean, this is an interesting material, because it's got to be plastic.
Well, I think it's 3D printed, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, we're going to find out. 'cause
We're going to
talk
find out.
David.
Yeah.
Look at
In
that.
any minute, we're going to talk to him.
Yeah.
That's a great business end. Look at that. Whoa. That's beautiful.
Look at all the detail work. Of course, the trigger works.
All right, box 4. Here's box 4. It looks like it's got.
This is box 2.
Oh my God. Did you look inside there?
Yeah. You got to show it on camera, Bob.
Jay's
You see my face in there?
mug is in the eyesight.
No, I noticed that,
That's
Bob.
awesome.
When he and I were emailing each other, I noticed that he was doing that my picture was in there, and then it occurred to me, I'm the thing that's being targeted.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right?
Wow. Looks beautiful. What the hell?
Wow.
What is that? D.
I think these are operational.
So these
Like
got
batteries?
These have letters in here. A, I see A and D.
Yeah. Yeah, he did mark. He did it to all of them.
Yeah.
This is a great piece.
What is this? This is so cool. Look at that. Wait, is this the cartridge? This is the changeable cartridge, I think.
Wow. Damn, man. What else we got? Anything more we need to unpack?
Yeah, whole
I think
second
we're going to have
box.
to do the second box.
Yeah, we have to open up everything.
Yeah, I guess we got to keep these.
So we've got 4 pieces of some things and 2 pieces. All right, yeah. Let's do it.
So it might be time now. We have a scheduled interview with David.
Let's call David, talk to him about how we build all this stuff while we lay out the second box.
Okay. Okay, so we pulled out the second boxes. We're about to unpack these, but we also have David Tremont on Skype, who is the builder, creator, fabricator, and also works for Weta Workshop. So David, first off, it's great to see you. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
So
it's quite amazing seeing all my stuff sitting out there on the bench.
no, we were dying to open it. So what was funny was I arranged this interview with David, and I said, yeah, we want to get you on. We want to talk to you about everything. And he goes, you haven't opened the boxes yet? He couldn't believe that we didn't open the boxes yet. So no, they're finally open, and we are finally getting a close look at all the stuff that you made, and it's beautiful. I mean, David, the first thing I noticed was, so this material is weird because it has a very metal feel to it, but it's not metal. What is it?
It's urethane resin.
So, and were these 3D printed?
No.
I don't think so,
Everything there in front of you is made by hand. All the original patterns were made out of wood and plastic with a few kit parts. Then I do silicon molds, and they're cast in urethane resin.
Urethane resin.
Wow.
So what color do they come out when they're done? What was the original color?
The raw resin is like a bony color. It's like bone. It's kind of an off-white. But we tint it a grey so you can better see the surface, especially when we're doing very fine detail.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the emitter here, as an example.
And the blade, yeah.
Let me see if I can get this on the overhead camera. So the detail work on this silver part of the emitter is extraordinary.
This is my favorite piece. It's my favorite piece.
That's what's called kit bashing. So the original pattern was made out of model kit parts. It's the very traditional science fiction model making technique.
Yeah.
The little copper pieces on the end are from a plasma cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Weta have changed over the cutter heads on their plasma cutter, and they had a bucket of those things, and they asked me if I wanted to have. Of course, I want to have them.
How appropriate is that those were plasma cutters?
I know.
That's actual plasma cutters.
Wow.
David, what was the hardest part about the fabrication process?
Well, I guess for me, the hardest part is the psychological thing. Will you guys like what I produce? Yeah. That's always a dilemma I have. But I can't nail down one piece. I guess once I get a shape in my head, all the pieces tend to be a little bit tricky to make. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, you are, of course. I mean, look, it's one of those things, like everything probably had a hard part and a part that you hated and a part that you loved and all that. I'm curious though, like out of all these pieces, which one was your favorite? Like, because Bob loves this piece right here. I absolutely love the, Bob, can you pick up one of these? This is my favorite piece. With my picture in there.
I like this piece right here. This just
no, I'm serious though.
That little piece of MDF. Yeah. I guess, Jay, that piece you were just holding is probably one of my favourite bits, because I just kind of like the lines, the angles, and the detail in the top with the dilithium crystal.
Yeah. Did you guys see that there's dilithium crystals up in here?
Yeah.
Now, David, am I seeing hard drive parts in here?
Yes, you are.
Nice.
That is awesome. That's the whole idea of beg borrowing and stealing pieces from other kits and real world things that you find that have an interesting shape to them.
I've got boxes and boxes of stuff that are just interesting shapes. Weta recently upgraded all their hard drives, hundreds of them. And due to security, they destroy them utterly. They have a big punch machine that just punches a hole right through the middle of them, so they're totally destroyed. They're beautiful things, so I made a deal with them. I'll pull them all apart, get out the disc or discs, hand them back so they can destroy them, and I keep all the pieces. And they said, yeah, sure. So I spent days pulling apart several hundred hard drives.
That is awesome.
That's so some awesome. Of the pieces in there.
Yeah, here are some of the pieces from the hard drive.
I mean, it's fun to just look at them and try to figure out, like, what are they derivative of?
Do you know what that is you're holding?
This, I think it's the clip, right? Is it the clip?
But do you know what the original part was?
No, yeah, this looks like the battery charger to a
drill, electric drill.
Correct.
It's like a 12 volt, maybe 14 volt.
Of course, it doesn't have these cool.
Yeah, it's the little battery case that goes on a cheap cordless drill. But the beauty of that is when you finally get the thing together and you clip that into place, it's got that beautiful click.
Yeah.
And it locks it. You can take it out again and lock it back in.
That's a great sound.
One thing that becomes a problem with props like this, they're all made out of resin. They're not like a high-grade, machined, tough plastic thing, so they can be broken. So it's deceptive. They might look like metal pieces, but they're not. So even though they'll take a bit of a beating, you just have to be conscious of banging them about too much.
So would you consider the quality that you built these at, are these considered hero props?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
These days, we do a lot of 3D printing and machining, so a lot of more high-end props could be completely made out of metal and very, very high-grade materials. So anything from 20 years ago to now, these would be considered high-end props.
Yep. I mean, it's remarkable to look at this resin has such a metal, aluminum or steel feel to it.
It's got a good weight to it too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking at this stuff going, every little absolute detail you had to sit there and think it over in your mind and figure it out.
And you had to make it all fit together, I'm assuming. All the pieces.
Those things have been together and apart many times.
Oh my God. So did you get a chance to show these to anybody else at Weta?
Yeah, a couple of other people saw them. They'd wander in and see them sitting on the bench. Everybody who came in, wow, what are those?
Oh, I love that.
Richard wants one, so I've got to sit down at some stage and make one for Richard.
Oh, really? That's great. Oh, that is so cool.
So what would it take at this point to make another one? Do you have all the molds? You just pour it in and
yeah, basically.
Yeah, so
I set up all the molds. That probably takes about 2 hours to prep and set them up. Take them into the mold department. They pour resin into them. That takes another bunch of hours because you can only do a few at a time. They've got to go into vacuum chambers and then pressure chambers. Half a day later, they can be pulled out of the molds, and I've got to de-seam them because all the molds are all cut open. So you open them up, there's a big seam. I've got to clean all of those off. Wash them all to get rid of the silicon oils that leach. So they're all washed in a solvent. Primed, painted, some other detail pieces stuck on them, and painted. So to make another one would probably take 2 to 3 days.
How do you de-seam it? How do you get rid of the seams? Because that's
it's just a blade, just a hobby blade. We just scrape it down the side.
And then
just
sandpaper.
And sand and filing. You have to be very careful you don't gouge the surface. So sometimes if it's a bit of a misstep, there's a bit of filling goes into fill the gap.
Now, David, you made the aesthetic choice. You were telling us to weather these to make them look like they've seen battle. These are not off the assembly line. A soldier has used these things in combat.
That's right. That's why when you look at the pieces, they look really dirty.
Yeah.
And if you look carefully, like Steve, that piece you're holding, you see bright silver edges.
Yeah.
That's called foiling. That's a metal foil you put on with a hot iron. It just a sheet, and you just rub a hot iron on it, and it just leaves a little bit of metal foil on it. But yeah, it tells a story. If you deliver a prop or a model to set, you don't want it to be pure, clean. It's nothing. It's got to be dirty. It's got to be aged. It's got to look like it's been somewhere. It's seen action. It tells a story. It becomes a character unto itself.
Yeah, I thought that in District 9, the alien weapons that they were, finding in the rubble and everything, those were distressed, so it made them really look like they found them in a garbage heap. You know what I mean? And that was a cool.
That was the exact thought.
Did you work on that team that worked on those props, or do you know the people who made those props?
Yeah. I worked on District 9. I spent quite a bit of time working on the original concepts before it all got changed. The aliens were very different. A lot of the props were very, very different. So I made a lot of stuff for that, which ended up then getting scrapped because everything changed. But yeah, definitely in the same room as everything being done.
Does that happen a lot to you? You like put your heart and soul into a prop, and then it never makes it onto screen?
Yep, it happens a lot.
And what happens to those props?
They usually get preserved as much as possible, or they might just get recycled, or they'll end up in the director's living room or something. The D9 props, the original ones, they're around the workshop. There's a couple on display. Yeah, the original mech suit was a very almost humanoid-looking suit that the guy steps inside, as opposed to that huge mechanical beastie that ended up in the film. That's on display in the museum.
David, do you ever build something for a movie and you're like, I got to have one of these?
All the time.
Yeah. All right. I won't ask the next obvious question because I don't want anyone to get in trouble, because I don't know if you're allowed to go home with stuff that you've made for a movie. But
I'll ask you a question. So give me a couple props that you've seen in other movies that you were not involved in that just made you drool and like, wow, what an amazing accomplishment. I would love, what impresses you?
Imagination, very cool design. I really love lightsabers. I think they look fantastic. I love all the sonic screwdrivers.
Have you ever built your own sonic screwdriver or lightsaber?
I made a sonic for Paul McGann, the Eighth Doctor. So I've made myself one of those.
Awesome.
Which is very cool. It's a hard question to ask. It's that old classic, who's your favorite Doctor?
Yeah.
The characters, my
David
favorite Doctor. All of them.
Yeah, they're all cool.
There's so many props and models I just love to see.
Yeah.
It's all, especially the ones that have a huge amount of imagination and creative design in them.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the sonic screwdriver and the lightsabers, because those are two things where there's a theme, where there's endless variations on that theme.
Right.
You can make an endless number of lightsabers that's still obviously a lightsaber, but it could be unique unto itself. Same thing with the sonic screwdriver. It's iconic, even if it's completely different than any other sonic screwdriver that's ever been seen.
Well, that's the beauty of it, because any young person can make their own sonic screwdriver or lightsaber. If they're inspired from watching the films, they can do that. They can get household items and bits and pieces laying around the garage and make their own. And that's the best kind of imagination you can have.
Maybe that's our next project, the sonic screwdriver.
So I would say a lightsaber over a sonic screwdriver.
So what's a great resource? What are some great resources for finding these little odds and ends that would be great for prop making? So junk in the garage, kit bashing, buying kits and taking little battleships, I think are a classic, iconic thing to use. Where else can I find little bits and pieces?
Okay.
Computer components, like you said, as well.
You go for walks around your hardware stores and you start looking at all the little greeblies, nernies, whatever you call them, all the little bits and pieces. don't see them as a door jamb or a tap fitting or something you screw to a wall to hang something on. You try and imagine what that would be as some futuristic mechanism. You've got to see things in a different way, but that's an easily acquired skill. So good hardware stores, electronic suppliers, a great source of just little interesting shapes. Model kits are always the classic one. Usually large military vehicles, tanks and so forth. They have lots more interesting parts and shapes. I often go to a website called Hobby Link Japan, and they've got all these new science fiction kits that are all very high-tech looking details. There's some of them on those phases. And they're
Hobby Link
incredible.
Japan?
I'll write that down.
Hobby Link Japan?
Yeah, Hobby Link Japan.
All right, remember that, people. I'm going there.
The stuff they have is incredible. I've just taken an order which came in you can't see it on camera, like a huge box bigger than the ones you've just unpacked, full of all of these plastic kits and parts, and I make lots of other things with them. Electronic components. I go to I think it's AliExpress and buy bulk switches, buttons. Again, you'll see some bits and pieces on those. Just lots of electrical components, and they are fantastic looking details on those long pieces down the front there. There's little black, the silver cover thingos, those things. See that little black thing in the front there? Yeah, that's a plug you put your charge your phone in.
Huh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know.
I just pull them apart, and the little plastic parts out of the middle of them, just beautiful looking shapes. Of course, hard drives. You see a lot of those stuck all over it.
I mean, it's funny when you think about, the origin of like a lot of these pieces. Like the artistry is definitely being able to find places to put them and know, not to do it too much or do it just enough to give it the look that you're going for, but not overdo it. I mean, that's the difference between someone like you who builds props for movies and, amateurs that want to build props and don't know when to stop, right, Bob? We've had that problem quite a bit. Like Bob has been doing haunted mansions, haunted corn mazes and all this stuff. It took a long time to get to the point where you realize that this is the right amount.
This is the sweet spot.
This is the sweet spot to do the effect.
Right. I mean, I could keep going forever and adding detail and more detail, but you got to think, first off, no one's going to notice what you're doing right now. You have to always think, what are people going to see in dim light at night? Yeah. And if you're adding detail beyond that, it's not a good use of your time. And so it takes a while. It takes a while to get used to that. But very few people would appreciate some of the finer details. It'd have to be somebody who's as obsessed as I am. And you got to step back and think, all right, how is a regular person? What are they going to see? What are they going to appreciate? So don't overdo it. Don't waste your time on unnecessary details.
I want to start putting these things together.
Yeah. So David, we're going to start watching the 12 videos you made us on how to put these together. Which I had to look at some of it. I told you guys. When David sent me the Star Wars blaster, it was amazing, like how easy it was to put together because David's fabrication is so good. This is definitely more complicated, by the way, than what I had to put together.
You don't think we could just wing it?
No.
And don't forget, there's 4 guns. There's 4 guns here.
Yeah.
But there's way more parts. It's just a more complicated piece. And while we have you on, David, so we did say earlier when we were discussing what's going on here that David built these for us so we could have a fantastic thing to give away as a prize to people that contribute to either the Alpha Quadrant 6 or the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe Patreons. So thank you for supporting the work that we do, David. And I got to tell you, like these are going to be. Mine is going in my office. I know exactly where it's going to go.
These will be prized possessions.
Yeah, an absolute prized possession.
They will be cherished for generations.
I'd
say that.
But I also think we should probably have a rack for them here on the set too. That would be another place to put them. So maybe we'll do that. At
least one of them is going to be on the set.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind having mine live here on the set. because it'll look awesome. Right?
I mean, can you imagine a rack of like 4 of them in there? Well, we're going to give away.
Yeah, we're giving away.
But 3, a rack of 3. Like, guys, we got to red alert. Get your phaser rifles.
So, David,
yeah, when I had all 4 of them sitting on my bench in the workshop, yeah, they look really good together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed up on your wall there, you've already got one of my weapons that I made ages ago.
Yes.
No.
That one.
yeah,
You're right in the middle.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
I bought that years ago, fell in love with it. I wanted the metal one, but they were like over like $800 to $1,200. And then when I saw that it came out in really solid plastic for a very reasonable price, I snatched that up immediately. That's one of my prized possessions.
Yeah, like
excellent. That was the driver behind that one. The metal ones were just too over the top, so we thought the plastic ones would be a good idea.
I just wish some of the other ones were plasticized. Because I only saw 1 or 2 of them that came in a version that was plastic. Some of them I didn't see in the plastic versions. I would have snatched them up as well. But maybe I looked on eBay and I saw some of the metal ones and see if I can get a good deal on them one day, because I'd love to have. There was one that I particularly have been looking for.
So you can watch the video when this goes up, David, but I will be keeping you apprised on how things go. But there will be a video of us holding these completed in the very, very near future. Hopefully tonight we'll at least finish one of them. And then I'll also keep you updated on how the Patreon drive goes. It's really just going to start over the next couple of weeks. We're going to start really telling people what's happening here. But I got to tell you, I've never been in a room filled, other than when we went to Weta, I have never been in a room filled with so much awesomeness right now. This is amazing. David, thank you so much. I'm going to put this dilithium crystal to very good use if you believe in the work that Section 31 does.
Excellent. Make sure you sort them out in their corresponding
letters.
Letter.
Yep.
Okay. Because they're all just hand screwed and drilled and whatever, so no other components will fit easily. So you've got to make sure they're all in their right orders.
And every piece has written down a letter somewhere.
Yeah. A, B, C, D.
The picture holding Bob. It's on your left side. Yeah, down on one of the ends will be just a little letter marking.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
David,
All right,
thank you so much. You made 3 old men very happy, I got to tell you.
3 old men.
Hey, I'm
middle-aged
older
men.
than all of you, and I had great fun making them.
That's a nice T-shirt you have there, by the way. Thank you for wearing that.
Oh yeah. And my spacesuit.
Oh,
nice.
yeah, that's
Check
what
it
that
out.
is. You know what that is? That's the that is a hoodie that is meant to look like
The NASA.
Yeah, but it specifically whose is it? Whose suit is that?
Oh,
This one's Collins.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Look at that. Excellent.
Well, poor old Collins. He tends to be the forgotten astronaut in that incredible mission.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
So, yeah.
I might have to get one of those. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, they're fantastic.
David, thank you again. We will see you when these are built, and we'll see you when we fly to New Zealand soon.
Yes. A little bit of updating on that, but I'll chat after this.
Yeah, we have another secret project that we're doing with David, but yeah, we're going to reveal that soon too. But thanks again. All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Great
Good luck,
job.
suckers. him! Yes!
Yes. Wow. What kind of battery did you put in that?
All right, we have completed our phasers. We are calling these the T3 because it's a tri-emitter in the front. You could win the fourth one. You could win one of these. What you need to do is you need to go to the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe or Alpha Quadrant 6's Patreon and join. If you're joined to both, you're a contributor to both, then you will have 2 entries. The website will be alphaquadrant6.com/T3, and it'll be the skepticsguide.org/T3. Guys, these are beautiful. Trust me, you want one.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David. You're the best, man.